You was at the table one day. Yeah.
I've been at the table. Yeah, the horseshoe table. Yep. Hey everybody, Championship Monday here on the TD Report. I'm Big Dave. I'm here with Big Tony. We're here to talk sports. Hey guys, the TD Report's real excited today. We have got to talk about that women's championship. Hey man, shout out to Dawn Staley and her South Carolina Gamecocks, completing one of the most incredible runs in NCAA women's tournament history. Not only does Dawn join luminaries like Gino Auriemma and Pat Summitt with her third national championship, Tony, her last 112 games as coach, she has won 109 games. 109-3.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah. It just keeps muting me. Yeah. She has. Man, she's incredible. So, did you guys know? Dave is being modest. Dave went to school with her. So, Dave went to school with her. So, congrats to the UVA grad. It's a big night. Dawn Staley, lady, you are changing college basketball.
It's
Now I say college basketball because it's just not the
it's
women's.
bigger than that, Tony.
It's
It's
bigger
bigger.
than just the women. So that girl is between her and Dion from our generation. Man, they changing the game,
Yep.
and you guys can hate and do whatever you want to do. They
Hey,
are changing the game.
now it's a party. Matt Ballou is in the house. Thanks for joining us, Matt. How you doing, boss?
Yo, what's happening, fellas?
Hey, we're talking women's hoops first before we have you jump in and handicap the games. Tony, finish your thought on Dawn Staley, women's basketball, and then we'll go to Matt. And then I have one more women's basketball, and then we'll get on to the men's game.
Well,
Go for it.
what it is that she hasn't gotten the credit like she's deserved. Um, Basically, she's one game away from being two straight undefeated seasons, and
Three
the
titles
person
in a row.
who
Two games. She is 2 wins away from 3 titles in a row.
3 titles in a row, and then it's just amazing how we're not praising this lady. And remember, this is during this is during the era of the NIL. And most of the old heads in the NIL aren't winning. It's the new people in the NIL who's winning. And this is during that era. And Staley has found a way, similar to what I think Dion is going to do in men's and for football. And people got to start looking at her. This girl's amazing. And the most amazing thing is that UVA never get away.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about that in a second. Matt Ballou, our
Hey,
resident prognosticator,
hey,
talk
Dave.
to us about the women's game. I don't know if do you bet the women's game?
I did yesterday, and I won
Oh
quite a
wow,
few yesterday. Oh yeah, I was
Dawn did you
all on
right?
South Carolina yesterday.
What
So
was the number? What were the numbers like? What was the betting? What was the betting scene
let
like?
me look. Let me look at my bet from yesterday and see what I won. Hey, Dave, does he know the story of when we played Don Stelly in basketball when I was visiting you at UVA?
He does not. We have not told Tony the story, and we'll break it.
Yes.
Give us the numbers real quick.
Okay, let me look at the. Let me see. What did I win? So the point spread was South Carolina -7, and then I bet that before the game, and then when Iowa jumped up early,
Ooh,
I was able to bet South Carolina -2.5. So I had two separate bets on South Carolina, and of course they won by more than 7 and more than 2.5. So I won a cool 100 yesterday on them. So
okay, so that's good betting for you, man.
yeah,
So why don't we let you set the scene for Tony? We're talking Charlottesville, Virginia, 1992.
yep, 92.
Spread right around. Florida. You went to Florida A&M,
Yep,
Tony. Florida A&M gets out of school
a week
before all
before.
the East
Yeah,
Coast schools get out. So he was at UVA hanging out with us before we went on our spring break for like a week and a
no,
half.
this was during your this was exam week for y'all.
Yeah, during our exam week
Yep.
before the semester.
So
That's
me and my buddy from FAM, we drove up to UVA, and then my other buddy from DC, Con, drove over, came down for the weekend because he knew I was there. So we ended up playing ball. It was me, Dave, Brian Grant, Con, and who was the fifth
Chuck.
person?
Chuck.
Charles Barron.
Chuck Barron.
And so we running the court. We done won like 5, 6 in a row. So Don Stelly come with 4 dudes, decides to play us. So I think that's the best defense I ever seen Dave play when he was trying to guard Don. He was sticking there. And
it was not easy, sir.
And we ran them out too, boy. And look, to the point, like we quit. We said, hey, we want to go back and get freshened up so we can go party. Everybody like, no, y'all got to play one more. We're like, we done won 7 in a row. We out of here.
No, we got us a dub. We got us a dub over Dawn Staley. We had to get up out of there.
Yeah, I was like, all right, we done won 6, 7 in a row. Now let's go party and drink.
Listen, Dawn Staley came here to the DC area to recruit, and they had to shut down varsity boys practice because the boys players wanted to come see Dawn Staley. That was crazy. What she's done for the women's game, what Caitlin Clark has done for the women's game, we are going to give University of Iowa on this show. We're going to give University of Iowa a lot of props. They went to 2 national championship games the last 2 years. Came up short. That's all right. They played 2 excellent teams in the championship. They lost to LSU. They lost to South Carolina. That's the height of women's basketball right now. And the way things are going in women's basketball, Stanford has won a championship in the last 5 years. Notre Dame has won a championship in the last 10 years. UConn has won a championship. Now South Carolina has chipped in with their 3. Okay. LSU has won a championship in the last.
Did you see the ratings for the game? It was 19 million viewers yesterday for the game. That's the highest rated basketball game, period, the last 5 years of NBA, WNBA, college, men, women. They got 19 million viewers.
Everybody was watching that, guys. I went to 2 different sports bars, just slipping in and out, and people were riveted to the TV set, gents. I mean, too deep at the bar, everybody's eyes on the screen. Everybody had a rooting interest. Tony, you're a visionary. How do I turn 19 million viewers for one women's college game? And how do I save the WNBA? Can I do it?
Yeah, you got to put those people in the right places that is not far from their geographical college area. So now Indiana and Iowa, that's actually pretty good. Not that far. It's not that far.
Hopefully the Mystics get Angel Reese.
Andrew, I've been yelling that from the beginning. I said it from the beginning. Before she even said that she was going. She needs to be here. Cameron, that's perfect, right by out West Coast. So you got to geographically put these women in areas kind of close to where they went to college. And that'll help with the spillover because those are where the base of the fans really are for the WNBA.
Right.
Will be coming from the college.
Yeah.
Coming from the colleges. Oh, I saw her play in college. Oh, I saw her play in college. So, I mean, those are some of the things you got to do if you want to take this to the next level and grab people. And the season is right. The season's in the summertime, right? Keep it away from football season. That's all you need to do.
That's right. Yeah. You're not
keep it away from football season.
You're not competing with football. And that's
good.
All right. That's all right.
Good.
You want to be there when the eyes are there for you to get, right? The issue that I think the WNBA has right now is that the national championship and the draft are so tight together, and then you have U.S. women's national team tryouts. They're all jammed in there, and the start of the WNBA season. That's the only thing that they might need to work out. And listen, women's basketball isn't the only, sport that needs to work some things out with their schedule. Let's switch over to the men's side of the tournament. Before we get to the national championship game, I'm your host, David Combs, here on the TD Report, here with Tony Kennedy. Down below me, my high school classmate, Matt Ballou, SJC, DC, FAMU in the house. He's our resident prognosticator. Matt is going to call the game for us tonight. He's going to give us all the numbers for you guys that have your smartphone and your betting app. Matt will tell you what to be betting. Tony, you're already at a casino, so I know you're going to run over to the booth, make your deal. So listen, guys, NCAA basketball right now is in a transitionary phase. Let's call it that. NIL needs to be regulated properly. They need to work on the transfer rules and straighten that out. But one thing that has to come about is keeping the transfer period portal away from the national championship game. I
Yeah.
think it's a bad look with the Elite Eight, the Final Four. You got all that going on. You can't have guys getting on their Twitter,
Yeah,
"Hey, I'm switching
leaving.
schools." Nah,
That's
I
a
don't like
bad
that.
look.
The transfer portal should not open up until at least a week after the national championship game. What do you think about that, Tony? If you were the sports czar, if you could regulate that, is that how you do it?
Well, I mean, of course, you got to have it where it doesn't mess with the tournament.
Yeah,
It can't
it
it
takes away
can't
from
interrupt it interrupt it. And then I think they need to cut down on the portal on how many times you can go. I mean, it's a little too much. Almost once a semester instead of all this in and out. Now, NIL, that's going to be kind of iffy, but we need to make sure that if you got to deal with someone that you following through on the NIL, it's just not just money and you go chill. Are you following the contract? Because technically, if you're not following the contract for the NIL, that's fraud. And if you're taking money and saying you're doing something and not doing it, it's fraud. And what's going to happen is somebody's going to get pissed and they want to turn somebody in for fraud. And now you're talking about dealing with the IRS. You're talking about doing this. You're talking about dealing that. You don't want to do that. So they need to just, to me, kind of, sit back and say, okay, if we give you NIL for this, this, and this, someone needs to be on top. Are you doing this, this, and this? Because it's not only just a school or we think you're cheating, that's fraud. And more likely, if you're over state line or whatever,
wire fraud.
that's federal. Wire fraud, whatever you want to call it. And we can't have our athletes getting in that kind of trouble, especially when we have all the resources at the university. So, guys, just pull it back. Make sure that they are doing what they need to do. Because, see, we at the Kennedy Sports Group, when we get you and my financial people get you, we ain't going to be worried about all that because you're going to be doing what you're supposed to do. And you ain't going to be out here flossing. You're going to have your money in the trust. You're going to have your money looking to try to buy that McDonald's or that Chick-fil-A or that Burger King or that Subway. See, these people are thinking too small right now, too short. We're going after you when you're in high school so we can show you. All you got to do is add zeros as you get to the college or get to pro when you build a base. But people are not doing that. They got these youngins just worried about trying to get a new charger or a new watch or a new this, new that. No, that's what's wrong with the NIL now. Is they see young people just getting and grabbing and not. It's nothing because we all know on this thing that this is going to end. For some of you, it ain't going to end well. It ain't going to end well because you don't have the right people behind you to help you manage that money. Because everybody want to be like, that's my man, that's my man, that's my man while he playing. But when he ain't playing and he get in trouble, I don't hear anything. That ain't my man. You quiet in the church mouse. So we need to get on top of this with our kids. Because mainly when you hear people talk about NIL, I'm going to be honest. They ain't talking about the white folks. They talking about you black folks. And they talking about how you grabbing money and how you rolling. And they a little bit jealous because,
Yeah.
they didn't get it. So we as OGs, and we got financial people, we need to use our resources to help these kids. Now, everybody ain't gonna want to go with us, that's fine. But if you come with us, and what we're gonna do, you're gonna be a rich person. Because think about it. All these years we've been in college, if all the NBA players and all the NFL players we know just did these two things, invest in McDonald's, invest in Subways, we wouldn't have no broke players right now because they're not closing down. When's the last time y'all seen the McDonald's close down?
It's very rare.
Never.
It's rare.
Okay. So if they would have been investing and putting just McDonald's alone, I didn't say Apple, Microsoft, and all. Just McDonald's alone from your hometown. If every player did that in their hometown, we would be some of the richest folks in the country. But they didn't do that because you always had somebody give me, give me, give me, give me, give me.
Hmm.
And I got to flaw, and I got to look good, and I got to do that. That's not what NIL is for. And that's what Dave, you came 10 years ago, 12 years ago to help teach some of the kids. We're going to lean on you then.
Hmm.
My team of Larry, Black, and Greg Arrell, we're going to get that money
Hmm.
and we're going to get them players.
Hmm.
And we're going to make sure that when their career's over, they got something to look forward to. They got their people working in their town. They doing what they supposed to do with the little bit of NIL money they had, and they're gonna come out with a degree. They got an excellent start. But right now, it's wild, wild west because we are allowing it to be wild, wild west. Some of us got to be adults here. Some of us got to stop and say, hey, we're just not going to be taking all the money. Some of us got to be big people, and that's going to take a lot. And because, it's easy money right now, Dave. Everybody love easy money.
Hey, Tony, I love that sentiment. Matt, what do you think about that as far as NIL? And let's just talk about the basketball piece, just basketball, because football is a different story. What do you think about NIL? Is it good for the game? Is it bad for the game? What does the NCAA need to do to regulate this so that the kids get the most out of it and their families, and the schools can feel, okay, this is pretty much what it was when boosters were just giving them money under the table? How do we fix that?
Yeah, I like NIL because it's been way overdue for players to get paid because March Madness brings in billions of dollars and it wasn't trickling down to the players. The coaches will have the shoe deal with Nike and Under Armour getting
Oh,
big
yeah.
money, but it wasn't getting to the player. That just wasn't right. I mean, basically they were getting free labor.
Mhm.
Now, does it need to be regulated better? Absolutely. But as far as how to do it, I mean, somebody smarter than me may know how to regulate it and fix it. But like
Mhm.
like like Tony said, it's too much of a wild wild west. I mean, you can
Mhm.
transfer anytime you want. People like the NIT was over last week. People from the NIT from Indiana State already transferring now in the portal. I'm like, and they just lost NIT 3 days ago, which is
Yeah, the
crazy.
championship. They went to the
Yeah.
championship
They
game.
just lost 3 days ago. Like they just lost on Thursday. So like they're transferring already.
Yeah.
So I got no problem with the players getting paid. They should have, like you said, I mean, I would defend you. So I saw what the FSU football players were getting. I mean, I saw Bob Sewell riding around in a convertible. I saw Charlie Ward riding around in his pickup truck with the booming system. So I saw
Charlie
that.
Ward. That's crazy, son. Hey,
I was there in the 90s when FSU had a top 5 basketball and top 5 football team.
they
So I
did.
saw it. Look, the dorm they lived in was Burt Reynolds Hall. Well, Burt Reynolds lined them pockets. Believe that. So,
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Bert.
exactly.
Lee Corso's roommate.
Hey, and you know what? He took care of all them athletes in Florida State too. So
Listen,
you could see it.
I love it. Tony, Matt is an accountant. I'm an auditor. So there are things that Matt can do and show you on paper, and then I audit it. And then my job is to say, you can't do that. But the thing is, with accountants, they're like, the numbers are the numbers, Dave. I could put the number up here, but if we subtract something here, it's going to be this down there. So where do you want me to put this money? Where do you want me to put this number? The thing is, with accountants, there is always a way to make the numbers look a certain way. From an auditor standpoint, my job is to go in and be like, oh, geez, are we going to get sued? And that's literally what this is with these NIL collectives. Am I wrong on this, Matt? All an
No, you're
NIL
right.
collective is a ball of money that boosters put together. It's the same pot or the same concept as the old athletic foundations that pay for a coach's salary, that pay for new football, pay for new football this or new basketball that. I just think they just move the money around, Matt.
I mean, a perfect example is John Calipari leaving Kentucky to go to Arkansas because Jerry Jones rolled out that big old money bag for him. Because
Tyson
Jerry Jones is
Foods,
bankrolling this move.
Tyson Foods, Walmart.
Yep,
That's Arkansas money.
yep.
Okay, Tyson Foods, chicken nuggets, and
And
all
Jerry
that
Jones.
foolishness. That is Arkansas money. It's literally Arkansas.
So
Okay,
hey, if a coach can
Maryland and the
do it,
Eastern
I got
Shore
no
is the
problem
home
with
of
the
the
players
chicken,
doing it.
right?
Yeah.
But they take all our chicken from up here, take it down there, and turn that into chicken nuggets and chicken breast sandwiches, and freeze them and ship them all over the country.
Look,
That's Tyson Foods.
as
There were
I said
billions.
earlier,
Huh?
Jerry Jones has done more for Arkansas in the last week than he's done for the Cowboys the last 5 years. So.
Oh, that's gotta hurt. But you know what? I can't find the lie. I mean, it's. Listen, if Arkansas wanted to, if they really would get their shit together, they could have fixed their whole football and basketball problem 20 years ago. What this NIL has done, they've sat down and said, well, wait a minute. We have as much money as almost everybody else from
Hey,
three guys.
hey,
Three
Dave.
guys from Walmart, Tyson Food, and Jerry Jones. That's oil, that's food, and that's retail. They've got in different sectors. They can put a lot of different money in a lot of different places. Now, what Matt has alluded to, Tony, for the University of Arkansas, they have pledged $6 million. Just the Tyson family, $6 million to go into the NIL collective every year. They're going to put that money in there, and that's just seed money. That's just everybody else is going to follow behind that money.
Yep.
Oh, well, if they could put in six, I could put in two, and Jerry gonna throw in his money.
Hey, the Hogs are gonna go get the dogs.
Yep.
All
They gonna
right,
go get the
love it.
dogs.
He's handing it
Absolutely.
on a
That's
tin.
what the yep. The Hogs are
Sell
gonna
it.
go get them dogs because that money that's about to come in, that football team ain't gonna be sorry much longer. That
Nope.
basketball team is gonna be right. You got a great coach. Listen, man. If Maryland, Virginia Tech, UVA, and West Virginia aren't careful, they're going to be ODU,
They're gonna be Presbyterian.
JMU, Howard, and Hampton. That's what they're going to be.
They're gonna be second
If
rate
they're going to
programs.
be second rate in for the sports. If they do not, listen, man, what nobody has told everybody, Maryland is sitting dead red, kind of like they added Microsoft. People are like, what is Microsoft? University of Washington. They added Hollywood, USC, and UCLA. Hollywood is one of the richest places on this earth to me. Then you added an area where a guy can cut a check as big as any check of those guys you just named. Phil Knight in Oregon. They added those three teams to their conference. You can't be playing with JJ and good times money. Y'all better get a plan because if y'all don't have a plan, Maryland is done. They are done. I don't give a shit how well you think you can recruit. If your ass don't get off your you know what and get some NIL and get to these kids early, you done. You will be done. And I said it years ago, and I'm saying it now. Your ass ain't doing what you're supposed to do. You in a fertile area, and you still don't know how to recruit with all these damn good ass, all this money here. But y'all so fucking arrogant. That's your problem. Y'all arrogant. Y'all think y'all know. Y'all think y'all the best. Well, guess what? Them kids ain't gonna keep following that crap. They want the money. And they deserve the money. So you better show them the money or your ass is gonna be second rate.
I would like to say that the DC metro area, the schools here, or the schools in the region, should be a little bit better on that. It's one thing to be the first team to put that money out there, but what did Dean Smith say? I don't want to be the third team in the ACC to start going after black players. He's he said, I'm not going to be the third team. I got to be up at the front of the trough. Okay. I got to be first in line. And that's what you're talking about, Tony. University of Oregon, they're one of those teams that understands how NIL works, how money attracts football players or basketball players. And they haven't done as much in basketball as we would have thought. But football, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's they've been close, been very close. What have they been in 2 national championship games? Right, that was in the BCS era. Right, lost to Cam Newton and them guys. Right, that first on that one of them times. Right, okay. It's only a matter of time before. Look, Nike University. Come on, dog. I'll tell you who else understands how NIL works. I guarantee you, Notre Dame is going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out. Notre Dame does not like to lose. They don't like it. They're not in a conference per se in football. They play what? A partial ACC schedule, but they're not an ACC team per se. They don't play in the ACC championship game. They are not going to align with a conference. But you know what? They're one of the only schools in America that doesn't need to. But here's something that's coming down the pike, guys. If the SEC schools decide to split off from the NCAA and the Big Ten schools and start their own football conference, their own football league away from the NCAA, that's going to change the game. That's the nuclear option. Wouldn't you say so, Matt?
Absolutely. If it just them 2 conferences alone, and then you add in the Big 12 too. You get the Big 12, Big 10, and then throw in the ACC. You get the 4 conferences. That's it.
That's it. And
Right.
They split away. You can also be honest with you. I hate to do this to y'all. Every school west of the Mississippi, whatever. You take every school from the Mississippi East all the way down to the Florida Panhandle, all the way down. You give me that for football and basketball, that's all the recruiting. As far as I'm concerned, that's where you're going to get your recruiting from. Those are the recruiting turfs, is on the east side of the country. Listen, if that ain't the case, why is the NCAA championship tonight starting at 9:20 and it's on the West Coast? Why is it starting at 9:20 Eastern time? So we, the East Coast people, can watch. That's the only reason they're doing it that way. It's money. This is what has driven this sport for about 50 to 70 years, guys. And to now, we can't put the genie back in the bottle, Tony. It's out. Well, with that, halfway through the show, welcome back to the TD Report. I'm David Combs here with Tony Kennedy, my co-host. Down below, Matt Ballou. We're going to start talking about the thing that all college basketball coaches dream about, Monday night. It's capitalized in the coaching fraternity because if you're playing on Monday night, that means your team made it all the way to the NCAA championship game. You will play the last college basketball game of the season. It happens tonight, Monday night, as usual. Tonight, we are going to have the Purdue Boilermakers, #1 seed in their region. They make it back into the tournament this year after just a crushing defeat to a 16 seed last year. They're trying to become the second team of all time to lose as a 16 seed and come back the next year and win the whole thing. That would be what Virginia did in 2019?
Yes, indeed.
They're going to play this year. They're going to play against the defending national champion, UConn Huskies. UConn rolls in here. Listen, they got a swagger about them. Dan Hurley's team, they look almost unbeatable. The way that they play, the way that they go about business. And Danny Hurley, Bob Hurley Sr.'s son, Bobby Hurley's brother, he ain't Bobby Hurley's brother anymore. He's Dan Hurley, head coach of University of Connecticut. I like the way that they play basketball, Matt. Talk to us tonight. Lead us into this from a betting perspective. What should our viewers be betting tonight?
Okay, so looking at the live spread right now on DraftKings, UConn's favored by 7 points, and the over-under is 143.5.
143.5. All right, let me ask you this question on the over. Purdue does not want to get to that. Purdue does not want to go over. They want to keep it on the under, don't they? They don't want to. They don't want to get into a running. They don't want to get into.
Unlike the last game UConn played against Alabama, Alabama presses the tempo, goes up and down. Purdue's not going to do that. So for this game right here, I'm taking the under because UConn in 9 of his last 10 games has hit the under, and then Purdue in their last 3 games has hit the under. So this 143.5, I mean, that's basically saying 72 to 60 something. You know, that sounds about right to me.
That 72-71 is 143.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying I'm thinking the final score because I'm thinking UConn's going to cover the spread too. UConn, the spread is -7. UConn has covered every game this year in the tournament, and they covered every game last year in the tournament. So they are an 11-0 heater as far as 2 straight years in the NCAA tournament as far as covering the spread. So betting against UConn is just foolish. I made that mistake last year, but this year I've been betting on them every game, and every game they've been covering. So they're a covering machine.
What if I could tease this? What if I can take? Can I get someone to give me UConn by double digits? Can I get 10?
Well, actually, it's funny you say that. I actually did a bet myself where I made the spread 9.5.
You teased it up. Yeah.
I pushed it up to 9.5 because that gave me better odds. Let me look to see what my odds are on that bet because I did it. So, yeah, so I took UConn minus 9.5, and that made it plus 130. So,
okay.
So $20 wins me $46.
Okay.
$10 wins $23. Yeah.
Well, in that heater that you talked about, that's 11 straight games that they've covered the spread.
In the tournament. They've covered every game in the tournament the last 2 years.
But that's also 11 straight games in the tournament that they've won every game by at least 13. No one's been within 13. That's the number. Within 13 points.
So the Vegas hasn't figured out how to make the spread big enough for them not to cover.
Exactly.
I mean, even opening game, they were favored by like 30 and won by 38 or whatever it was. So,
yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Hey.
Lay it on UConn, baby.
Put it on UConn. Okay. So our resident prognostic, Tony's going to, I thought you would run up to the counter and put that money down.
so take UConn minus 7.
Thank you, UConn. Yeah. I took another night. Thank you, UConn.
Take UConn
Thank you, baby.
7, take the under on the over-under at under 143.5. Because I'm thinking it's going to be in the 60s. Maybe UConn gets to 70 something, but I don't see Purdue getting over 65, 64.
Oof. Yeah, that's the trouble for Purdue. I feel is they can't play this game in the 70s and expect to win because if they play it in the 70s, they're not going to get to 70 and hold UConn to 60 in the 60s.
Because
you see what I'm saying?
Even though Edey had a good game last game against NC State, Purdue still shot 3 of 15 from the 3-point line, but that NC State just ran out of gas and couldn't make nothing themselves. But that's not going to happen with UConn. If they shoot 3 for 15 against UConn, they're getting blown out.
Okay. So if you're Matt Painter, who, by the way, my opinion, Matt Painter is one of the best coaches in the country, period. I don't care what anybody says. He's a heck of a coach. What does Matt Painter do as far as strategy tonight? Tony, you're running up against UConn there. UConn is a monster.
You really want to know? You really want to know, Dave? What should he do? That's what he should do. Pray. Because it ain't nothing else going to help. They got a big man. They got another dude. They got another dude coming off the bench. Man, they gonna beat the living crap out of Purdue. Because Purdue, the only reason why they beat NC State didn't have 2 scores. And then the one dude got in foul trouble. No, Connecticut got 2-3 big men that's gonna go at him. And they're not afraid of that dude. And when they neutralize that game, the rest of them wide open threes ain't gonna be falling like it was falling up and up. They're gonna beat them like a dog.
Connecticut has because they have so much size, they don't have to double team Edey, which means it's gonna take away Purdue's 3-point shooting, which means Edey gonna have a 45-point burger for them to even be in the game. And I just don't see him doing more, his normal. He'll get around his 27, 28, but he ain't getting no 50.
They're gonna make him work. They'll make him work for that 27.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that what you have to do, I think you guys are right. I think you have to play Edey straight up. I don't think you double. I don't think you mess around like that if you're UConn. But on the flip side, UConn presents problems for Purdue to defend also.
And
their problem.
Let's not forget UConn center 7'2", so he could actually look Edey in the eye. Everybody else been so short, he just shoots over top of him. He gonna get his shot blocked a couple times a night. Watch.
Yeah. And Edey has been one of the more interesting stories in the NCAA. He is the rare big man that has stayed in college all 4 years. Okay. Usually a guy like Edey would have been gone last year or probably even the year before because he's 7'4". But he's allowed himself to stay in college and develop, made himself a
Because
better
of
player.
NIL, Dave.
What's
Because
that?
of NIL. Because of NIL, he stayed in school and developed. That is what NIL is going to bring it back to when we was in school, guys. When they were staying
It
in
actually
school,
helps now because
it
now he's a
actually helped
lottery
them.
pick. He wouldn't have
Yeah.
been a lottery pick a couple years ago.
Oh
He's a
no.
lottery
No,
pick right
no.
now.
It would have been a project a couple
Yeah.
years ago. At the end of the bench, and we've been like, oh man, whatever happened to that guy Jack Eady? That's what NIL and the NIL is gonna kill the G League. It's gonna kill the G League
Yep.
because now the players can get paid more in college than they can in the G League, which the G stand for ghetto.
Yeah, actually, and Matt, I like the G League. I liked it as a place where some guys that maybe shouldn't have gone to college or didn't want to go to college, I thought it was a good place for them.
No, the G League though, now that each G League team is associated with a pro team, for like for instance, I'm a Spur fan. The Spurs are in San Antonio, where their G League team is in Austin. The Spurs send people down that don't play on a regular rotation. They have them playing in G League and bring them back up. So if used properly, it's a proper minor league team. Like the Wizards have the DC Go-Go's. They don't do the kind of stuff the Spurs do. The Spurs actually use theirs to the utmost.
Yeah.
Like Fred Sanford say, the G stand for ghetto.
It's the double. It's those two-way
It
contracts.
depends on who's running their G League team. Like the Spurs use theirs perfectly. They bring players in and up from Austin to San Antonio. They'll send them back down to get more playing time. I mean, that's how DeShonte Murray and Derek White got their playing time the first couple of
How
years.
they got better.
The Spurs kept on sending them down to the G League, and then when they brought them up to the big squad, they were ready.
I think what it comes down to, Matt and Tony, it's player development.
Yeah, it depends on, like, you don't never hear nobody from the Go-Go's going to the Wizards and back and forth, but you hear it all the time for the Spurs and the Austin team. Like, they do it all the time.
Oh, they might, because what'll happen is usually what happens with Washington Wizards players. They end up going somewhere else and actually doing a lot better. Rui Hachimura, the best thing they could have ever done for him was get him out of DC and get him somewhere. I'm not saying that being in LA is the be all end all, but honestly, I saw him play the other night. The Joker had like 25. So he's doing something. See, he's doing something right. I like the draft pick here. I just wish that we had better player development here.
Yeah, that's this issue. They don't develop here.
They don't develop any of their players. They just bring them here to DC and just throw them out there on the court. And, without any rhyme or reason or any type of structure. And if you don't have that, I mean, guys, look back at the old teams when we were coming up in the 90s. Chuck Daly with the Pistons, Pat Riley with the Lakers. Those teams had a system, a way that they played basketball, okay? And that's why they were successful. The Bulls under, Phil Jackson, they had Michael Jordan, but they had that triangle offense. They had, Phil Jackson, the Zen master, coming up with a way that guys are supposed to play when they're here. Even in Philadelphia with Allen Iverson acting crazy, Larry Brown had a way to play. Yep. And that one year that Allen did what the heck he was supposed to do and everyone else did, they made it to the championship. Okay.
Hey, the glue of that team was George Lynch, boy. I love me some George Lynch on that team.
Great player. Great player. Patrick
Henry, that was my man right there. Yep. I love George Lynch, baby.
Yeah, that dude was he was one of the great Carolina players.
He went to Flint Hill, right?
He transferred. Yeah, he transferred.
Patrick Henry out of Roanoke. Out of Roanoke. The note, my man Bernard Basham, Boogie Basham. Them heels, baby. Hey, man, ain't no pride like that, baby, in basketball. Ain't nothing like that.
George Lynch and Aaron McKee did their thing for that team, boy.
Yeah, Aaron McKee was great for them that year. Eric Snow, they did what they had to do. But they weren't beating the Lakers. They weren't going to beat the Lakers. Talking about North Carolina, what y'all got for next year, buddy?
It's same old, same old. We're blue blood. We are the blue blood, and we just gonna be right back. We gotta retool off but they'll be back because they got NIL money. As long as you got NIL money, you're gonna have talent. When you don't have NIL money, you're gonna be talking about next year. You're gonna be sounding like the Cowboys in football. Next year. No. NIL money, no NIL money, no loving. Just like a lady, right? No money, no loving. I mean, what we talking about?
Yep.
I mean, come on now.
So Tony, who are you betting tonight? You gonna go with Matt on this and take the under?
Oh yeah, well, oh man, that's a no-brainer. And I got it at 6.5 in here. It's at six
It
and
went
a
up
half.
today. It was at 6.5 when I got it this morning.
Yeah,
It
well, it's at
moved.
6.5 because
Oh,
I'm
the
on
line moved.
FanDuel. I'm on FanDuel. You
Okay.
on your other? It's 6.5 over here on FanDuel, so I'm about to go get
Yeah,
it
it went
in a
up.
little bit.
The over under went down. It was at 144.5 when I caught it this morning.
The
Oh,
over-under
so
is
it
the
has
same
moved.
here. It's 143.5 here. When
Yeah,
you
so
said it, I
it's
looked
gone
right
down.
at it.
That means everybody's counting under. That's why it's going down.
Yeah, but I'm going to take the point spread.
You
And matter of
taking
fact,
you're gonna bet the spread? Okay.
I'm going to bet the spread now, and then I hope Purdue jump out to a lead so I catch the spread again.
And that's what I did yesterday in that South Carolina game.
Yeah.
I was jumped up and I caught South Carolina at -2.5.
You jumped it.
Because
Yep.
they got to adjust it. Because they start getting in. Hey, look, man, they showed the entire country. Only 3 or 4 states didn't take it. The bookies made a killing yesterday. Because everybody was taking ours. So the bookies made their money.
Hey, I
Nobody
made
took
my
South
money
Carolina.
yesterday, so hey.
Yep. The
Yep.
bookies made it off everybody else getting in that emotional stuff and this and that. Man, the emotions ain't got nothing to do with this game.
hmm I appreciate that sentiment, Tony. Thanks for the
They,
betting
they,
info that
they
you're going to be
money.
doing.
I
Nobody
made
took
my
South
money
Matt,
Carolina.
yesterday, so
you've
Yep.
already done your
The
betting for the
bookies
night.
made it
Got your
off
bets
everybody.
in, right? I appreciate that sentiment, Tony. Thanks for the betting info that
They
you're going to
money.
be doing.
Nobody took South
Matt,
Carolina.
I appreciate that sentiment. Matt, can you hear me now?
yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You got your bets in, right?
Yeah, I got them in.
Okay, cool. So if I'm going to get the draft, you like DraftKings, right? You
Well,
like a bet.
I like whichever's giving me the best deal. I use FanDuel sometimes. I use
Okay.
BetMGM. I
All
use
right.
Fanatics. So I have all of them on my phone, and I look to see which one that gives me like DraftKings gave me. They'll give me a bonus bet if I don't hit, so they match up to $25. So if I don't hit the
Okay.
bet, I'll get a $10 bonus bet back tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you.
Yes,
And then
they
just
know
use that
they
bet, and then just what is Tony got there? Oh, RX Sports. Hey guys, look up RX Sports. Go ahead and go into Google that for us. RX Sports is Tony's Tony's CBD program and company. They've got, oh wow, is that the back rub? Is that
No, well, Dave, so what we have right here, so you
yeah?
can understand what we have. Well, all of us athletes were taking Advil, ibuprofen, leave all that stuff. You got to get away from this. It's all natural. It's the same thing, pain, just like that. It does not work on your liver or your kidney. All of us athletes were told a lie. Now we're paying for it. We have all natural stuff. It is the best on the market. If you tried it, we got EJ Henderson will tell you. Played 12 years in the league. Hey, Andre Reed will tell you the same damn thing. Played all those years in the league. We're
JD.
going after the Olympics. I'm going down to Virginia Tech. Put it in front of them. I put it in front of Maryland. Maryland didn't want to do it. The Redskins didn't want to do it. Maybe that's why they lose it. They need to up their game. I don't care no more. You know we're gonna be straight. Maybe that's why you're losing, because you're not thinking out of the box. But guess what? Somebody's gonna catch it. I've thrown it to some HBCUs. Some of them gonna get on and white label, which means they can change the label to their own label. The people that get on is on. And guess what, folks? I'm one of the only blacks in the country. There's only 1.5% that own CBD. And when you're looking at it, it is the future. If I'm lying, go to Wall Street Journal. Go to Forbes. Pull up CBD and what it is each year. They both gonna give you a conservative estimate. And look at the number. If I'm wrong. That's why we got the pharmaceutical companies calling us next. Because they worry. Because of this, it's getting them worried. I'm just letting y'all know. I ain't mad at nobody.
I appreciate it, Tony. Hey, listen, we got to get out of here. Everybody enjoy the game tonight. Let's see. Before we let Matt go, thanks for joining us, Matt. You said take UConn tonight, but take the under. right?
Well, take UConn the spread -7 and take under 143.5.
143
So
and a half.
you can put them together in a parlay, or you can do it individual bets. I'm parlaying them, and I did UConn on an individual bet. I pushed it up to 9.5.
Okay. Well, hey guys, that's your betting prognostication for the night. For my boy Matt Ballou, Maniac Matt, Grundy Financial, my man. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming on. We got to get you on after. We're going to get you on after the season because it's almost NFL time. So,
hey man, we got to talk the draft, man. I know my stuff, man.
All right, I know. That's why we friends, buddy.
We got to get you on, baby.
All right, I'm with it, man.
Hey, right now, folks, so we at the casino, we working on trying to get Ray Lewis for the first round. If we get Ray for the first round, we're coming hard. But guess what? We're going to eventually get all the people. You know why? It's because Tony don't give up. He knows, but I don't care. I'm a skill grind. That's why we always going to be successful. With or without, like you two used to say. Right?
Thanks for joining the TV report tonight, everybody. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the games.
All right, brother.
Appreciate you.